day 4, and I'm really happy that you are still here. You know what? Keep going, keep going. I am rooting for you. Today, we'll be looking at section 4 of the Personal Development Guide, and it's titled Your Goalcraft Precision in Planning. Yeah, you have to be as precise as possible. And so today we will be considering setting SMART goals. You know what SMART is: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time specific. Now, one thing I want you to understand is that the entire component of setting a SMART goal, moves together. The entire component goes hand in hand. So you can't say, oh, I want to set a specific goal, but then it is not realistic or it is not relevant. Oh, I'm setting a measurable goal, but then it's not time bound. So what are you measuring? So you have to ensure that your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable. It is realistic or relevant, then it is time bound. You have to obey all of the rules so that you will get the results that you intend to get. So let's just quickly run through what setting SMART goals mean. You can, come with me using the personal development guide that you have. If you do not have one, just reach out to me on WhatsApp. 080 64088841. Okay, let's get going. So, step 1 says conquer the demon. Conquer that evil spirit that is below your bed. Cover that, conquer rather that evil spirit that is always telling you, you can do it. You can do it. Just go for it without telling you how to be specific about the things you want to do. So, the example I have in the guide is be a millionaire. So your goal is, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to have money. I must have money in this life. I must have money in this life is not the goal. So while you're going around, you say, I don't go agree for anybody. I must have money. I must have money is maybe at most, maybe a dream. Maybe, I don't know, even a vision has to be clearer than that. How much money do you want to have? When do you want to have the money? So a vision even is clearer than that you get. So a goal, for you to put that goal down, you have to be specific. So under step 1, where we said you must conquer the demon with specificity. You have to be specific. So yeah, I want to become a millionaire. What we have written here is that you should write, I want to increase my income. So you already have an income, but you hope to increase your income. That is a goal. Are we together now? So step 2 says, chop the monster. Chop it, chop the monster. Now, basically, step 2 is the next word, which is measurable in SMART. We started with specific, right? Now, the next one is measurable. Is your goal measurable? Are you writing it in such a way that you can measure it? Do you have KPIs? Hmm? Do you have key performance indicators that you'll be looking out for you to know that, yeah, I'm doing well? How do you intend to track your goal? Is it something you can measure? Make it measurable. So that is the whole point of measurability. Yeah. So with the example of becoming a millionaire, which we have turned into increase my income under specificity. Now, under being measurable, you will say increase my income by 20%. By 20%. That 20% is what you can measure. The 20% is what you can track. Hmm? At least you have an income now. You may want to increase by 100%. You may want to increase it by 1000%. It's a cup of tea. The next step I titled in the guide is ditch the doubting Thomas. Mhm. So, is whatever you're working on attainable? Is it something you can achieve? Is it achievable? Let's talk about its achievability. So don't just say things. For instance, like I said, everything goes together, right? So you can say, oh, I have been specific already, so I'm trying to increase my income. Then, oh, it is measurable already by 20%. But then you now get to achievability, you now say, I want to increase, no, sorry. Then you now get to achievability, then you realize that what you wrote before isn't running as smooth as you thought. Maybe even in your measurability, you had written, say, by 1000%. Wow, well done, ma. By 1000%. But on that achievability, our example here, for instance, let's take it that way, on that the become a millionaire example, is increase my income by 20%. Then the achievability part is by starting a side hustle, selling pillowcases and bedspreads. Now, can you use this side hustle to achieve a 20%? Yes, maybe. So great. But if you have probably written by 1000%, so at this point, the question would be, can you sell pillowcases and bedspreads and increase your income by 1000%? So you see that it speaks to one another. Your achievability now here will make you realize that, that thing I wrote in number 2 under measurability isn't going to work. So I have to go and adjust it. So you run there and you adjust because you have to ensure that everything speaks to one another. If not, it won't work. So that is that. Then the next level, number 4, step 4 says befriend relevance. Befriend relevance. Now the point is all of your goals, have to be relevant to your short-term and long-term vision or your overall goal. You don't just take things out of context. You don't just do things because you want to do them. No, it must align with what you intend to achieve in the future. It must align with what you intend to do with your life at the end of the day. What you are and what you are becoming, it has to align, basically. So it could be, your career, personal development, so just something you want to do out of leisure, but it has to be something that you really want to do, something that is in your vision, something you've thought about. It's calculated, you know. Um, So with our example, relevance will now be, let's take the example again, increase my income by 20% by starting a side hustle selling pillowcases and bedspreads. Now, 2, the relevance, leveraging a current skill my mother taught me and hoping to be better at it. So relevant to your goals, to your vision. There is a skill your mother had taught you already, and you intend to take it higher because you can see it says you want to leverage something your mother taught you and hoping to be better at it. So there is a long-term plan. Relevance. It's relevant to your goals, your long-term vision and goals. So you intend to be better at this and probably even scale it up. So maybe at the end of the day, your long-term goal for this particular one would be that it will become something beyond side hustle. You might even open a business for it, like a company. So that makes sense. Then finally, step 5 says time travel total power. Time travel total power. It has to be time bound. So all of these things now, you can't just leave it open. When do you want to achieve it? 2024? Even 2024 isn't a deadline per se. Is it first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? Is it in January, February, March, April, May, whatever, December? You have to be as specific so you can hold yourself accountable. So for that example, we will say, increase my income in 6 months from now, in brackets, due June 30th, by 20%, starting a side hustle, selling pillowcases and bedspreads, leveraging a current skill my mother taught me and hoping to be better at it. Now, the time bound element here is in 6 months from now. In 6 months. So at the end of the day, what we have now is a SMART goal. So I'll read it to you again. Increase my income in 6 months from now, due June 30th, by 20% by starting a side hustle selling pillowcases and bedspreads, leveraging a current skill my mother taught me and hoping to be better at it. Now, this is a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, relevant, it's time bound. This is a SMART goal. So now, having done this, I wanted to populate the um there is a template down, a goal template down. I want you to replicate that in whatever you're using, maybe a note, um, a notepad. Maybe you can use um your normal notepad, hard copy. Then it could be online, whatever. Just replicate it. You have your serial number, you have your goal outcome, you have your different columns for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Smart goal setting. Now, it is important that if you're using a hard copy, you can write it out, you can print it out if you want, but because you're already dedicating a notes part to this, maybe printing out might be a bit disorganized because you might miss it out. For this exercise, you might just continue writing, but then if you want something that you can paste, so you see it often, so then you can print out, whatever works for you basically. But the most important thing is that you get this written, you get it documented, whichever way you want to document it. Just ensure that it's well documented. Um, so here now, the first thing is I want you to know that you have to write a goal outcome. If I want to, the example here say a debut novel published. If they say I want to publish my first novel ever, the goal outcome will be that the novel is published. So we work it backwards. We are starting with the end in mind. So begin with the end in mind here under the goal outcome. Begin with the end in mind, write your goal outcome, and then reverse engineer it. So the example here says debut novel published. That is the outcome. So how specific can we be if the entire idea is to have a novel published? Here it says, write and publish a 70,000 word romance novel about the life and times of a university student. How specific again can it go be? It's so specific. The kind of novel, what it will be about, the number of words. Now move to measurability. Like I said, it's how you can track your work, your goal, right? So talk about metrics, talk about milestones, about KPIs, things that basically you look out for that will tell you whether you are on track, whether you are ahead of your plans, or whether you're below, you're behind your plans. So number one here says chapters completion. So maybe chapter one, chapter two, I want to write 10 chapters. I want to complete 2 chapters in this month, 3 chapters, depending on what you're working on. So chapters completion is a metric, it's a milestone. So it says draft manuscript. At the end of the day, I want to be able to have my draft manuscript, complete novel that will be reviewed, right? The next one says share with reviewers. It's another milestone. I'll share with reviewers. Help review return to me. Then another one says final manuscripts. So at the end of the day, I have a final manuscript that I will send to the publishing house. Then finally, there is secure agent and publisher. And if I want to self-publish, then fine. Maybe then I can secure editor, depending on what you want. You can always things around. Now, achievability. How realistic and attainable is this? How realistic? How attainable? Right? So achievability is basically telling you that is it something you have the power to do? Is it something you can really do? Do you have the power to make this happen? So you have to question yourself. Can I attain this goal? Kai, is this thing really something I can do? Do I have the power to do it? These are the questions we want to answer here. So one here says dedicate 2 hours daily to researching, writing, and editing the novel. 2 hours every day. No matter how busy, I want to dedicate 2 hours every day to ensure that I research, I write, and I edit on the go. The second one says reach out to agents and publishers. Now, on relevance, you have to check alignment with values and long-term ambitions, like we did in the other example rather. And this one says, this publication aligns with the long-term goal of establishing a career as a recognized novelist. So, I mean, how can I be recognized as a career novelist if I do not start a career at all? So, then time bound, like I said, you have to take the pain of ensuring that you write a time. When is the due date? Basically, when is the due date? When is the deadline? So I wrote Q1 to Q3 2024, which is quarter one to quarter three 2024. And precisely the due date is September 30th, 2024. So there is a second example there, promotion received at work. It's still the same thing. So just go through your guide and do what you have to do. Optionally, I don't even know why I said optionally because this is actually a great advice. Excuse me, please. Optionally, okay, now I went back to the optionally. What kind of reboot was that? Anyways, one interesting thing that I find working that I want you to consider is breaking down your goals into daily tasks. Break them into routine. You know how that behaviors that you do over time will come together and form your habits. And behaviors are sort of routine based, right? You do them all the time. You find discipline to do them. You find motivation to do them. You just try to do them. Over time, it becomes your habit. It becomes something you even do with ease. It becomes something you have to do. So all those goals. So for instance, this example we used now, this writing example, you can break it into something you do every day. And I think this already has it under achievability. We had mentioned dedicate 2 hours daily to researching, writing, and editing on the go, right? So, what you now want to do is you now break down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So now one of my goals says I have to write every day. So it means Monday, Tuesday, I'll just put 2 hours, write my novel, right? It's a routine now. In fact, if I even want to make it more concrete, if I want to concretize that, I would fix a time. It's easy to fix a time to say 7 to 9 p.m. daily. I want to be writing. So on your daily routine, 7 to 9 p.m. daily, 7 everywhere is blocked. You block it off. It has a deadline in September. So from now till that September, blocked off. Every day, 7 to 9 p.m. is blocked off. You don't fix meetings there. You don't hang out there. You don't do nothing except there's an emergency. That's how it works. So by the time you've done every other goals that you want to set, and like okay, I'm not sure I had said it here, but don't do too many goals. In my other videos, I think I had mentioned this. Don't do too many goals, and ensure that you mix up your goals: high impact, low impact. So by the time you have your 5 goals, 3 to 5 goals that you really want to focus on, then you can now break them into routines. That's how it works. Break them into daily routines or weekly routines. Daily routines means that you do them every day. Like this writing now, you write 2 hours every day. Block it off. Write every day. Or you can do weekly routines. Pick one day in the week where you do them. So for instance, if I want to read, let me say um I want to read 2 books a month. 2 books a month. And I do not really have time like that. Anyways, part of my goal, I want to read 2 books a month. At the end of the year, I want to read at least 24 books a year. This could be more, but at least 24 books a year, which gives us 2 books a month, right? So I can say every Mondays and Fridays, I want to be reading. Every Mondays and Fridays. So I'll block it off. So I can say 5 to 7 p.m. every Mondays and Fridays. Every Mondays and Friday. Weekly schedule. Weekly schedule. So far, it is not an everyday schedule, it is weekly. So it is every day, then it is daily. Are we together? That's how you break all of. So at the end of the day, you now take a holistic view of your daily schedules and your weekly schedule, and then you see what you can move around. Oh, this one is not good for Monday. My Monday is a very busy day, so you move it. Oh, this one is not good for Friday. On Fridays, I go to church. When I come back, I do this. I do this. Okay, so this is. And please, one other thing you have to note for your weekly schedule is that schedule a rest day. Schedule a free day where you don't do any of this. You just rest and maybe assess your week. So on my own schedule, actually, I have a free day and I have a week. I have 2 days I don't do nothing. One is free so that I can easily clear up backlogs. That's why I left it free. That if there are things I have missed during the week, I get to do it on that particular day. And there is another day dedicated to assessing my week and readjusting my schedule, because beyond these goals, there will be schedules, there'll be other things from work, there'll be personal things you have to do, somebody you have to call, someone you have to send a message to, all of those. So that is the one you get to do on that particular day of free. Then assessing, you do other things too. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it's this long. I didn't know it would be up to 20-minute long, but I just wanted it to be as detailed as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said earlier, I am rooting for you. If you have any questions, please do not forget to drop them in the comment section. Do not hesitate to drop them at all. I'll be here to, hold your hands, guide you through, answer your questions, and others can also learn from it. One other thing I would also love to mention is the fact that you have to keep connecting the dots while you work on this. You have to keep connecting the dots. So from your assessment from day one, there are some things you have to focus on. You have to focus on some things here that you've noticed that the ones you actually prioritize, that you notice you are lagging behind. So you have to prioritize them here. Anyways, I'll be around to answer your questions. Reach out to me on WhatsApp, drop messages here in the comment section, and I'll see you in the very next one. Bye.